Yes, and
Good
we're on.
morning. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, viewers. Welcome to
Hello.
Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. This is Cynthia over here. I'm
Hey, I'm getting
Rhonda.
the hang of this.
Of course, we
Yeah,
do have our names right there too. That
yeah. Just so in case you can't read, I'm Cynthia.
we like to laugh too.
Yeah,
Today's topic is what do you want to what do you want to give to the world?
that's
Um,
right.
what
We were,
what is your gift to the world that you want to give? And I'll
yeah.
let you start out, Cynthia.
Well, I just wanted to kind of intro a little and say we were inspired by the events of this weekend. For those of you who are Christian or of the Christian faith,
Yes.
or kind of
Mhm.
non-denominationally aware of religious holidays. This is Easter weekend. Tomorrow is Good Friday, and then I think it's Easter Sunday. And here in Europe, they are very religiously aware, specifically of the Christian denominations. And so we also have Easter Monday. So we are looking forward to a 4-day, well deserved weekend.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear how other people celebrate the religious holidays, how
Yeah.
other countries celebrate it.
Yeah. Well, here we pretty much close all of the shops. Everything will be closed tomorrow and then again on Sunday and Monday. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some stockpiling, or there's already some stockpiling taking place today and then again on Saturday. So, but today we're talking not about stockpiling, but rather about, let's say, distributing, spreading the
Yes.
goodness.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thinking of the holiday because it is an inspiration. Um, think about what it symbolizes.
Mm-hmm.
It symbolizes everything that's good in the world. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, truth, love, fairness, kindness, gratitude.
Yeah, and I mean, for many people, and obviously the symbolism of the Easter holiday with the what do they call it? The Easter bunny and the painting of the eggs. It's all about new beginnings, a
Mhm,
resurgence of life. The egg is a symbol of a seed and
mhm,
new life to come forth. So I saw in your Facebook feed that you had a picture of a horse with her foal, and I just thought, oh gosh, this is perfect for our conversation
mhm,
today. You posted it a little while ago, but not too long
mhm.
ago. So yeah, so talk about
And
giving to the world, new life,
you betcha, new, vibrant, exciting, energetic.
beings.
Uh, yeah, it just there's so much there to appreciate, absorb, and to give to the world.
Hmm.
Uh, and
Hmm.
what do we want to give to the world? Do we want to give hatred, spite, jealousy, misery, resentments
Hmm.
to the world,
Oh.
or um, do we want to give kindness, uh, forgiveness, if you will,
Hmm.
truth,
Hmm.
being able to look at things as they are, not as we want them to be, and then
Hmm.
make choices to do something positive about it,
Hmm.
focusing on the solution rather than the problem.
Yep.
Do we feed the world negative messages, criticizing,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
sarcasm? I could go on and on.
Right.
Is that what we're giving to the world, or are we giving the world? Do we want to help help uplift and help bring
Mhm.
each other up into a
Mhm.
better place, into a more caring perspective?
Mhm.
And are we detaching when we need to? Are we detaching from the people and situations that don't help uplift not only us but those around us. Sometimes
Right.
we have to detach and walk
Right.
away, and that's very difficult to do. But we want as much positive energy as possible for
Mhm.
ourselves and for others, don't we?
Yeah, well, actually, I love the way that you have brought up this topic because I think it's something that we tend to do as people and as social beings.
Mhm,
We'll talk about, crazy things that are happening
mhm,
around us, and obviously, you look at a newspaper and the headlines. They tend towards like the negative and the insane and the atrocious sometimes because that's what supposedly attracts eyeballs. But
mhm,
the truth is, like, when I thought about this, what is it you want to give to the world? I realized that it is actually sort of like an endless bucket of
mhm,
possibility. And I also realized that a lot of what I want to give to the world isn't even material. So even
mhm,
somebody who literally only has, say, the shirt on his back and, the pants on his legs still has something to give. And so the
mhm,
first thing I wrote was my value. Um, and
mhm,
and I really think that all of the things that you talked about, the jealousy and the greed and the overwhelming pride or possessiveness, like all of those things diminish the value, and they also diminish our ability to see our own value.
mhm,
And so I actually think it's such a perfect discussion to have after last week where we were talking about knowing your value and
mhm,
really kind of tapping into that sort of endless well of energy, because that energy of your value is positive in its
mhm,
at its core. you know
mhm,
just like the child that is born from a mother's womb, or to parents, that is like just pure positive energy,
mhm,
and that curiosity, that excitement, the hunt for the Easter eggs, all of those elements. Those are the things that I want to give to the world. So
mhm.
so that
Yeah.
was kind of what kicked off some of my thinking on that topic today. How about you,
Yeah.
Rhonda?
I That pretty much sums it up. It does. And I love animals and how
Yes.
the animals are so natural and so normal, and so unjudgmental,
Mhm,
and they're just being themselves, and I love
mhm.
it.
Well, and that's actually, I'm glad you bring that up too, because animals really, they kind of bring out the natural goodness in
Mhm.
us,
I think so.
don't
I
they?
think so, unless you're really a demented person,
Don't they? I mean,
you
unless it's a caged animal who's, frightened and,
Mhm.
trapped in a cage or something.
Yeah.
Usually they're actually, I don't know, even looking at a photograph of any kind of animal,
Mhm.
you just can't help but to sort of like tap into the completeness and the beauty of that being.
Mhm.
That's also contributing to, the energy of the planet, which
Definitely.
actually taps into the second thing that I wrote, which was my wholeness.
Oh, yes.
That's what I want to give to the world. Um, yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
So
Do you see anybody making any comments?
I can't see the comments from this view.
Uh,
Let's see.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
want
nope, no comments as far as I can tell.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So we might have some input on that. Was kinda hoping.
yeah. On what
Yeah,
you want to give to the world. Well, yeah, some
yeah.
people, they want to give their silence.
Fair enough. And that's not necessarily a bad thing either.
No, sometimes it really isn't. Sometimes it really isn't. So
So I think maybe we might be able to cut this short today. That pretty much sums it up, don't you think?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a couple more things on my list. I just kind of,
Oh,
had a little brainstorm on the topic.
well, you with that wonderful, beautiful, creative mind of yours, go
Okay.
for it. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. So I started with my value, my wholeness, my gifts and my talents. And so that was something that I was also thinking like, I really want to become a master at what I do, and a master at my craft, whatever that is. And so it's really
Mhm.
about, I don't see mastery as a form of, let's say, domination over,
Mhm.
but like that kind of feeling where you know that like you're so energized to do this thing because you have such a fluent communication with your tools and
Mhm.
your understanding of what's required. I wanna write like Michael Jordan plays basketball. I wanna have those feelings, and I want to be able to, perform like Michael Jordan performs when he's on the court and kind of exude that energy that, I mean, that's why people go to these kinds of games, is to kind
Mhm.
of tap into that feeling and to experience that mastery alongside with other masters on the court. So that was sort of the thinking that went behind the gifts and
Oh, well,
talents.
I really like that. I would like to be able to think at a deeper level like that and to learn how to communicate it better to the world.
Yeah, yeah. And, at least in my experience working at my craft, I've realized that it is a dialogue that takes place with myself all day,
Mhm.
every day. And it's usually kicked off by my meditations in the morning. But,
Mhm.
even as I go through my day, I listen to feedback. Sometimes it's less constructive, but still
Mhm.
very valuable. And when it can be difficult and maybe less than constructive, but still, that doesn't make it less valid.
Mhm.
I'll have those conversations with myself, like, how could I have, scored a home run? How could I have, dunked that basket better? So those are the kinds of questions that I have to ask myself all the time as well. So there is a lot of internal exploration happening, in that space.
Well, that is a form of manifesting, which I'm
It
trying
is.
to I'm that's where my focus has been lately is manifesting and learning
Mhm,
how to do it, learning how to visualize, uh,
mhm,
opening my mind and creativity
mhm.
and letting go of limiting beliefs, which I catch myself with all
Yep,
of the time.
yep,
And for me, it's been a huge challenge. Having spent years and years and years persistently being told what to do.
right.
And I wish people wouldn't do that because
Uh-huh,
they hurt the people they do that to
right.
by teaching them not to think for themselves
Mhm,
and teaching themselves not to um, evolve, if you will.
right. Yeah.
And so that's a big struggle of mine.
Yeah, but you're taking control back. And
Yeah.
the best way to sort of like gauge every moment, and I do try to sort of like check in on
Mhm.
a very frequent basis, but it is something that you have to sort of remind yourself to do, is just kind of say like, how am I feeling about this? How
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really just sort of, how can I make this feel better? Especially,
Mhm.
I mean, writing is kind of a lonely sport. I mean, I do a lot of writing on behalf
Mhm.
of other people, but when I
Sure.
go off and work on that, it's on my own.
Mhm.
Um, but I know that I'm in the flow when I'm having fun or when I am not
Yeah,
even
you can
thinking.
actually feel it that
Yes,
when you're in the flow. It's
right.
actually and, next thing you know, hours go by
Yes.
without you even realizing it.
Realizing it.
That
All of a
that's
sudden, it's like you have to turn on the lights because, like, it's gotten dark.
Yes, yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love times like that. I
Yes.
love
Yeah.
that feeling. I love
Yeah.
it when that flow is going. Uh,
And when that flow is going, that is your prime manifestation time. Like,
yeah.
actually, you can, and this is just my little tip for y'all who end up viewing, when you find yourself in that zone where you're like, oh my God, I'm totally feeling it and I have to turn on all the lights and what happened to all this time? That's the moment where you start to say, you start to visualize the beach house, the whatever, because basically you're just have to paddle out into that and you are going to catch that perfect pipe or that perfect wave for your manifestation. And I promise you, you will start to see things happening in a very short
Yeah,
amount of time.
agreed. Yeah.
Because you are in that vibrational zone. You
Mhm.
are in the zone. That's why they call it being in the zone when you're in
Yeah,
that space. So,
definitely. Now you had another one on your list.
yes, it's my last one. And they kind of went together. It was epiphanies and joie de vivre. So, like, I am excited about life, and oh gosh, I'm so happy because the sun has finally come out. It's
Yeah.
been raining forever here, so and like I can feel the sun, I can feel the excitement around spring. And I just at the same time that I was experiencing that and being so appreciative of the sunshine, I realized that was like my epiphany in that same instance is it really is the little things.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, I trust me, I will not be excited if, and when I win the lottery and, have a windfall of money. But by the same token, like I have those windfalls all the time. They're just a lot smaller in scope and they're not the kind of thing that you can, brag about on social media. Or if you do, you know, it's really just for you and yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and I think those are the things that like we have to remember, and those are the things though that we can also pass on
Mhm.
and give to the world. Just to say like when someone says, "How are you?" and you can be like, "The sun is shining," and they're like, "Holy moly, I didn't realize like it's literally been raining for 3 weeks." Um, yeah,
Oh, it has definitely been gloomy. Of course, it
yeah,
is April. April showers bring May flowers, as you know.
yes. And what do Mayflowers bring? Pilgrims. so so yeah, that was it. My value, my wholeness, my gifts and talents, epiphanies, and joie de vivre. And oh, actually, there was one more that I didn't even notice. My attention. And I think that actually relates to everything. It's really
Mhm.
about seeing the gifts around you,
Mhm.
seeing the abundance all the time, everything. I mean, the people you meet, the conversations that you have. Um, even like the other day, we got actually a letter from here in Switzerland. The collections agency is actually a state agency. So it's actually the government sends you a letter and says you owe this company a certain amount of money,
Oh
and
my
so they're
gosh.
the collections agency. So
Wow.
we got one of those collections letters. And I mean, my husband, he like hit the roof because that's how he rolls. And
Yeah, how
anyways,
embarrassing.
we went to pick up the letter, and because they wouldn't tell us over the phone who's collecting or asking to
Yeah.
collect, filing a claim. And so we went to pick up the letter, and that's when we found out that it was this insurance company. And we were like, oh, this has got to be a mistake because we canceled our coverage for this year. and we never even got invoices or what have you. And we called the guy, and he was so embarrassed. Um, and my husband, he was like ready to like, let's tell him what we think. And I was the one who was talking to him in local language. And he's so embarrassed. He's like, "Yeah, I can see. Like, I entered your cancellation, but somewhere it kind like something else didn't get canceled in their system or whatever." And he was really embarrassed. And then afterwards, he thanked me for not berating him. And I used to work in a position kind of similar to his, where I would take on a lot of calls, and they would usually have to do with billing or things like that. And I have to say, like, a lot of people's default when they call a company to complain is to yell at the first person they get on the phone.
And what does that accomplish, really?
Exactly, and
Nothing.
it doesn't accomplish anything. It makes two people feel bad instead of, and so like, and he was just like, "Gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I can see plainly, like this shouldn't even have like, it shouldn't even have gotten to this point." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get any bills to sort of tell you that this has been so we didn't get a chance to find out or to let you know that no, we canceled, and you shouldn't even have had to escalate it." Anyway, and I just realized, like, I just kind of like just dialed the number. I wasn't angry at that point. I was like, surely there must have been a mix up. And that was a very little thing to give to somebody else, which was just the benefit of the doubt. You know, Something must have happened. I know I did what I was supposed to do, and I also know that I make mistakes.
I
Um,
Yeah, I just do not I never did, still don't understand what berating other people accomplishes,
it doesn't
except
anything.
to blow up the berater's ego and sense of power.
But you know what? They
But that
don't feel better.
No, nobody feels better.
Oh, I mean, my
That's
husband, between you and me and the viewers, he's a bit of a hothead. Like, he will blow off his top before, and I love him to death, and I love his passion and,
Yeah,
passion for living. But then afterwards, he's like, "I can't deal with this anymore." And I'm like, you go through these like emotions, and then you feel like bad and drained. And I was like, this does not accomplish anything. Not to mention, the dude isn't even here. Like, the people who can do something about it, they're not even here. Like, they're just basically yelling at nothing in our apartment. just like, just trying to get some yas out
I
or
get
something.
I guess it's a
So
form of stress relief, but I still don't understand why you have to berate somebody else to make yourself
yeah,
feel some relief.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
And they
just
don't.
never
At
did
least he doesn't.
understand that.
He doesn't either. And I mean, only like maybe like an hour later, he'll be like, "Yeah, I think I might have overreacted a little." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, that's why
Do you
I kind of
realize
run interference."
do you realize how emotionally intelligent that is to recognize,
Mhm.
to be able to say, "I think I overreacted"?
Yeah.
I mean, that is emotional intelligence at its finest, I think.
I think probably,
And to be
an
able to
hour later.
admit it.
Yeah, an hour later where he's thinking like, and I basically get off the phone and I'm like, "Okay, it was a mix up. They're gonna cancel it with the
Yeah,
state. That's all
right.
settled, and that I mean, there's really nothing to say. Like, it was a mistake, somebody flubbed, we move on, right?" And I think
Yeah.
when I came back and I was like, "It's nothing. We don't have to fight any fights," and he was I think maybe that's something like I used to call him when we were dating. I used to call him my gladiator because I always felt so safe and protected with him. And I think because he was always sort of like ready to like confront, the injustice. And so I do appreciate that about him. But he's also like revving himself up to confront the injustice before he's actually confronting the injustice. And that's where I'm sort of like, wow, you're like, that's a lot of energy
Yeah, it's a
for me to
huge amount of
withstand.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually, yeah, it's much better to get on the phone and get the facts, find out what's going on, set
Yeah.
boundaries if you have to,
Yeah.
if it's not
Yeah.
something like that. Um, and Yeah, I had one call me recently and she's going, "You're past due on this." And I'm there. I'm online. I'm looking at the bill. I'm looking at all the information you say I'm behind on, and it's telling me
Uh-huh.
that I'm good.
Uh-huh. Right.
Oh, we got it resolved.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then it's like, "Oh, that's a 2023. Oops," like, "Yep, wrong year, lady," like,
Oh my gosh. And with so
yeah.
many subcontractors out there, it's it's very easy to have maybe a short delay in information,
Mhm.
with electronics and programming, and it depends on whether you have direct access to the
Mhm.
computer system or not. But sometimes there are delays,
Yep.
or misinformation, which if you can it's so much easier to amicably talk about it,
Yeah.
because button heads,
There's
it's a
yeah,
natural. Oh, it's just
yeah.
boom, boom.
Boom, boom, indeed. So, I
Yeah,
guess that's
well,
to
yeah.
the last gift, which would be, like, understanding. I didn't write it down, but I think that's, kind of giving that benefit of the doubt, recognizing,
Mm,
the humanity that we are all a part of, and we're all here kind of learning
yeah,
learning as we go. I mean, like, this is the
we
first time
are.
that I've ever experienced the 14th of April of 2022, and
Yeah, you and how many million other people, huh?
yeah, so, like, cut me a break. Like, I've never been in this place before?
I like that perspective.
Yeah,
And it's true.
yeah. So,
Oh, well, it's that time.
it is indeed. I
It
have the gift
is.
of gab. I guess that's something I gave to the world today too.
And we can give more laughter to the world
Yeah,
wherever we can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Laughter, fun, and joy. That's the word
yeah.
I'm trying to come up with, joy.
And yeah, an expectation that like the I think Einstein, they've attributed some quote to Einstein, where he says like, that the friendliness of the universe is like the friendliness that you expect or something. I totally mangled the quote. But if you look up friendly and Einstein, you'll find the quote and it'll be so much more eloquent than what I just said.
Well, I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah. It's
Einstein
like
and
a friendly
friendly.
universe and Einstein. I promise you it's out there.
I believe you. Einstein had some fabulous quotes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, it's that bewitching hour. It's 10 o'clock,
It
top
is.
of the hour, 10 o'clock Eastern time, four
Yes.
o'clock yours, I think.
Yes, and for those of you who are facing maybe a longer weekend, enjoy it. Hopefully, you'll have some sunshine.
And enjoy, appreciate your family
Yeah,
members, appreciate each other.
yeah.
That's
The ones
important.
that you choose and the ones that you didn't choose, appreciate them all.
Yeah, appreciate them as much as you can, and think appreciation before you criticize.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Check in. Check
yeah.
in. Mhm.
So thank you so much for your insights.
Yeah, it was a
Always
fun
appreciate
conversation.
them. And that's it for Cooler Talk today.
Mhm.
And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. and have a beautiful day, beautiful weekend, and a beautiful life.
We'll
Till
see you
we
next
meet
time.
again.
Yes.
Okay.
Ciao for now.